Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ellie Mack. It's the beginning of the week. I'm starting a new painting. This is the canvas right over here. And because Sunday is my prep day, I do a lot of cleaning and I do a lot of planning. Right now I am actually planning out this painting. So I thought I would take you through the process of how I'm going to do this. I actually started recreating, I'll show you right over here, this painting right here. So I did this a year ago for my grandmother. She literally commissioned this painting from me so that I could buy paint. So that was an oil painting, 16 by 20. I started painting and I did this piece, and I did in a separate video that I wish I would have kept the other orientation, and I didn't like that my grid lines were showing, and I also didn't like the size. I wish I would have gotten one size bigger. So I did go grab a larger canvas. My daughter already started ripping this off for me. And this is a 24 by 30. I'm hoping this is large enough. It's always so satisfying. And because I don't feel like bothering with grid lines this time, I'm going to show you how I use my projector. So accidentally, when I rearranged my office, I actually came up with the best setup possible for my projector. So as you can see, I have this door that I cannot put anything in front of. It is a storm cellar, so we really don't go down there. I just keep bar stools here for if I need to sit or stack something or whatever, but I ended up just keeping them there, and I was actually just stacking canvases here. So I can show you my projector sits right on top of my printer and will project over to that canvas. This is the reference photo that I'm going to be using, and because I did it on my tablet, I just uploaded it to my Google Drive file, and I'm going to use my computer. It's connected to my projector, and I will project the image from my computer on there, and I will just lightly sketch it before I get started. So there are several ways you can get good outlines down. I did the grid method, and I like doing the grid method because you don't have to worry about an image being askew. So I really only like using the projector for bigger images just to get it done quicker, but you do run the risk of it being a little off, so you do have to really take your time with it. It usually ends up taking more time than just sketching it out, at least for me, but again, there are several different ways. You can use a lightbox if the image is small. You can do it freehand. You can use a grid. You can use a projector. And some of my favorite artists use projectors, and if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. So I'm going to show you how I get that image up there right now. Let me make sure this is on. So right now, see how it's like off? That's what you have to worry about with a projector. So sometimes you really have to fiddle with it. I'm literally going to use some of this packaging that I just threw on the floor. I'm probably going to rip this up into little pieces so I can get the image like up here centered. Let me set this down, see if I can't work on that. Okay, I am in my drive. I'm going to click on my reference photos, and this is my own reference photo. I did take this picture, and then I went onto a free editing app on my tablet, and I just played around with the colors and contrast so I can get some fun, different color ideas and also good outlines. So I'm going to make this image really big, and then you can see it is being projected over there. So another reason I want to project it is because I do want to play around with where the bison is on this canvas. So I really like this orientation, although I do want this to be more this way or more that way. I'm not sure, but I'm going to play around with this so that I like the orientation, or I like the composition better. That's the word I'm looking for, composition. I need the composition to be just right, and this will give me a clear idea of what it's going to look like. So see how this is actually not perfectly like leaning that way? I want it to be straight up. I need to raise the projector up. Okay, that's getting closer. I'm thinking it needs to be just about there. So I want the eye to be about there, but it's still not centered right. And it is also leaning. So let me get this as far back as possibly can. I'm also going to turn the light off in my kitchen. Okay, so now I can really start to see where everything is. Trying to decide how much space. No, actually, I think that looks pretty good. I could get it a little bit more centered. Let me know if you have to fiddle with your projector this much or if you have a perfect setup, because I would love to know. Okay, I still think that needs to be up higher. I'm gonna use a couple of these books to get it up just a little bit higher. That might be about where it needs to be. All right, let me see if I can get it sharp. Doesn't have to be perfect, but that is pretty darn close. His eye was too centered last time and I wanted it to be more over. I don't want to be too close to the edge either, so this might be the winning spot. Okay, let me go turn the light back on real quick because I am going to show you my my favorite drawing materials. I have to keep everything hidden away so that my toddler doesn't get them. I'm gonna have to sharpen some of these pencils. So I have used Derwent, Faber-Castell, just some cheap random stuff from the store that you can get. Okay, might need this, probably not, because I'm not gonna do a lot of details. And also willow charcoal. And what I would say is willow charcoal is amazing. I really enjoy using this. It gives you a good medium value. And then my absolute favorite pencils by far are the Generals. Generals charcoal pencils are just the best. I just love them. I love the richness, the texture. I don't know, there's something about them. I feel like the other ones are too hard. That's just my personal preference though. Okay, I can't find a 2B. That's the other thing. You could probably do everything you needed with a 2B. I'm just wondering where I usually have like a few pencils ready to go, and I'm not seeing them here. Unless my dollar stole them. I don't have an HB or a 2B, so we're just gonna use what we have. Okay. So I went hunting around and I couldn't find my 2B, which is literally my favorite, but I did find an HB, which is good for like just the lighter lines. So we'll see if we can use that. We'll use what we got and we'll get these outlines down. So one thing about charcoal, I really do prefer over graphite. You can just get all your values so much easier than with graphite. Charcoal can just get really, 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 really dark. So I want to try to get the HB as sharp as you can. All right, and the 4B, I'll probably use this one the most. And then also the willow charcoal. So what's so great about the willow charcoal is you can get so much coverage so quickly. Let me show you what that one looks like. Oh, did I grab two 4Bs and not a 6B? Oh my gosh. Okay, I just did two 4Bs and not a 6B. Yay, I found a 2B. Oh my gosh, there's literally no more markings. You can see how it has the markings on here. I don't know if you can see that. This one's totally worn away. That's how much I love that pencil. But I did find a 6B and a 2B. So really, that's just the hardness scale. So the HB is going to be the hardest. Don't ask me what the numbers mean. Maybe H is for hard. Then it's going to get softer and it's going to allow more charcoal to get put down on the surface and be darker. So the higher up you go in number, the darker it's going to be. So the 2B I like because it's just, I don't know, it feels the best. And then 4B gets darker, and then 6B I also use a lot just to put in the darkest values. And yeah, so that will probably be what comes in a pack. I will link a pack of Generals in the description. So if you want to try them out, you can. Almost there, almost there, almost there. I can't find the cord to my electric pencil sharpener. I need to probably get a better one anyway, but you know, old ones do the tricks. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, Generals, this is the one that actually came in the pack. So yeah, as long as I've been drawing with charcoal, they just do the best. They do the best job. All right, that's good. So I can get rid of one of these 4Bs. Leave that to the side. So it does get messy, especially this vine charcoal. This comes off really, really fast. Oh, another tip for drawing is you want to move from left to right when you're drawing with charcoal, even if it's an outline, just so you don't get a lot of smudging, although I'm pretty sure I already smudged this, but it comes off so easy. The other thing you want to consider when doing an outline is, shoot, I might use vine charcoal the whole time. You don't want to use really rounded lines. Our eyes visually like to see angles better. So if you can get angles instead of just rounded lines, that is always better. The other thing I would say is use your shoulder when you're drawing instead of getting like up and close and doing like this when you're getting outlines. Like there's a little rounded tip at the top of that, so I'm not gonna stress about that. But this is gonna get your outline down really, really quickly. Yeah, see, this is the 2B. See how quickly that is? And it's not perfect, but this is all gonna get painted over anyway. I always have to remind myself that it does not have to be perfect. It's gonna get painted over. See, and you can get outlines, but it's not quite as dark as the vine. So you don't even really need any outlining right here. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to. Like this is a big dark chunk. And so really quickly, you can know that this is the darker value. You can go ahead and do that. That way when you're painting later, you have a map, a contrast map that will really help you. You know, I might even keep that little blade of grass in there. That looks cute. Like this, I kind of want to remember that this is where the yellow is kind of happening. Got some pink over here, but this is all going to be really loose in here anyway. This is kind of a defined area, and this is all just to help you later. So like, okay, this is pretty defined, his little ear, cute little ear. This is going to be very, very loose later, so I don't really want to invest that much into it. Again, like right here, my rule of thumb is don't spend more than like 20-30 minutes on this, minus the trying to get the projector working. So value mapping is really nice. This helps me remember, oh, this part is all dark blue. You know, I can put some dark blue in that area, and it helps the underpainting. It just makes it easier when you go in to actually put down the brush strokes later, because we're all about having fun. Keeping it fun and easy over here. And again, it does not have to be perfect. This is just a map. You gotta be careful. All this is gonna blow away, this like darker one, unless you fix it. So I use 2 times fixative spray. I haven't had any problems with it. I know Winsor & Newton has a good one that a lot of people like to use. I get a 6-pack from Amazon, so I will link that down below as well. So you can even rub it in over here. Knowing that's like a lighter blue. It's not the darkest blue. Or you could use the side of your pencil. Remember, oh, this is where the light blue comes off, but it doesn't go all the way, and then it starts to go into light purple. Again, these are really loose outlines, but I think it helps. I don't know. You don't have to put that much down. Really, this main outline is all you need. If you want to be super thorough, you can get the whole outline of all that grass, but you really don't need to. That's going to be really fun and abstract later, but I might do, okay, well, the grass comes up to here. That might be good to remember that the grass, get a little bit of that showing, like right here. Do a little bit in the beard. But then again, you don't want to be too detailed either, because then you won't want to cover it up. I've run into that so many times. I get really annoyed with myself when that happens. But again, this is going to all get painted over, so it doesn't really matter. If I did anything else, I might do just a little bit darker right here where the eye is. And this is just the way I do it. There's tons of drawing tutorials out there if you want to be a little bit more precise, a little more exact. But I think just getting some loose stuff down, because you're going to cover it over later, is the best way to go about it. That's my opinion. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think I need to do much more. Just so I know that is where the white is. And see, this is a Tombow mono eraser. This is really nice to get into teeny little spots. I made it a little too small, so let me just erase a little bit of that. And all right, I'm just gonna call that done. I'm gonna turn on the light and we'll see what we got. Yeah, see, that's pretty good. So I can turn that projector off. And we're gonna go outside and spray it. And actually, now I'm gonna go wash my hands and then spray it. Okay, let's get this 2-time spray. Oop. Got the doorknob. Take a little journey outside. You don't have to worry about the smudges here, because this is all gonna get covered up with paint. So. We're gonna give that about 20 minutes and probably give it another coat, just because vine charcoal is really loose. So it'll be better to just be safe. You don't want charcoal running. That's not what you want in your painting. So now I need to move some of these paintings. All of these need to be varnished. So I'm actually going to move them over here. Oh, that one actually will fit there pretty well. And all these paintings have just been added to my website. I just haven't varnished them yet because it is better to take photos of them before you varnish, just because I do like varnishing because I like to keep it. If this is glossy, I want this to be glossy too. So I like to have a uniformed look, but I also I don't want to risk having too much glare because you can see glare hitting those glossy spots. And yeah, I will show you guys how I do that as well, probably later in the week. So another thing I'm going to go ahead and do is clean off my workbench from my last painting. While that one is drying, I usually can only paint in 2-hour increments at a time, and a lot of it is the prepping and planning. So this way I can get set up to paint tomorrow, since I paint during my kids' naps, so I have 2 hours a day to paint if I'm lucky, and this will set me up so that tomorrow it'll just be really easy for me to transition into just going right into painting. All right, so the easiest way to clean your palette is just with straight alcohol spray. Mark this one H2O so I don't get them confused. And then a straight eraser, which I will link below, but then it usually will come up pretty easily. In theory. I guess I left a lot more paint on here than I normally would. I'm just pretty stingy with paint, so that's actually probably a good thing. So you might have to get as much of this up as you can and then do another spray. But then at least I'll have a clean palette for tomorrow. I don't know if this should be counted as day 1 or a prep day, since I'm prepping the canvas. Also, I use triple primed canvas, and also since I use modeling paste, I don't feel the need to gesso it. I know a lot of people like to gesso their canvases, and I'm not against it. Since I use a lot of modeling paste, it usually doesn't give me a problem. And I use a lot of thick paint on top. Dang, this really is taking me a minute. I think I want to make a larger palette, honestly. This is, I think, a 16 by 20. I think I need at least an 18 by 24. Yeah, having a prepped workstation is always good because then you're so much more likely to come in and actually create. All right, 3rd time's the charm. Just get the weird little pieces in the corner and the sides. All right, that's pretty good. So that is my Sunday prep day in my studio. That gets my painting ready, my studio ready, my plan all laid out so that I can go into the week prepared to get a large painting done, and wash my hands and got done just in time for Little Miss Shallow to wake up, which is my timer.